morning, lovely people. We are present. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. All set? All set. Lots to cover today. 2 videos. Jamming. As I told her, she made me think. She made me think about what motivates moral behavior, pro-social behavior. Enormously important. I simply repeat what I said last time, but I thought about it yet kind of more fully. I do believe empathy is the fundamental root of moral behavior. I do believe that if you want to call it innate, because it does seem innate, sense of, I said fair, I kept using that word fairness. Remember the monkeys and banana. Remember now the 15-month-old that says, that's not fair. You got more Cheerios than she got. That primordial, deep, fundamental sense of fair or right, or this feels right. Remember I told you about there are 2 major sets of feelings, mad, sad, glad, scared, etc. And this feels right, this doesn't feel right. And how important, both in parenting as well as being a therapist, never mind a human being trying to live a self-respecting life, taking loving, responsible, respectful care of ourselves, we have to use that guide of this feels right to do, even though it takes an enormous courage to live by that. Well, those 2 components, empathy, mirroring, internalizing, wanting to be connected to, and this feels right, this doesn't feel right, I think is really the fundamental substrate for pro-social moral behavior. I told you the last time I stole. Remember when I switched the cologne and the aftershave, and I looked in the mirror and felt awful and I had to return it? If you remember this, but I did. Remember that I backed into a Porsche, right? When I was picking up my wife's order of prime rib at Bully's late at night. And remember that? Oh, I did. Oh, I did tell you, because I bumped into other things. That's why you never ride behind me, unless you want your student loans paid off. I bumped into this thing, smashed. It's like, oh God, nobody's around. I could have done I'm just writing this note in case anybody's watching, pretending I'm leaving you my phone number, neener. I didn't. That prime rib cost me, for my wife, $1,614.22. But I was honest. Not because I'm saying, because it didn't feel, I couldn't look in the mirror and do otherwise. I'd internalized it. It's not about getting caught. It's not about getting punished. Nobody's going to catch me. Nothing's going to happen. Other than I have empathy for this fellow Porsche owner. I don't know them in real, but in my mind, I have empathy with them. I own a Porsche. I own a car. I know what it would feel like to have somebody smash into me and not leave a note. That doesn't feel good. And I have empathy for myself. I don't want to commit an act that disturbs my eudaimonic state, that puts a sneaky aspect of me, the fearful of whatever, having to pay money, get caught, whatever, versus the one who lives with integrity, the one who can look in the mirror and feel self-respect. So I don't want to alienate myself from myself. I have empathy for myself. And I think those 2 components are really the fundamental aspects of moral behavior, which means we have to be moral, fair, empathic with the little pumpkins that we raise or do therapy with. I think you have a comment or a question.
You said
Please.
that the root for pro-social was empathy, mirroring, internalizing, and something else.
That sense of fairness, that fundamental bio-based, I really believe it's bio-based, sense of this is right, this is not right. And again, just like now I look at everything in terms of connection, not connection, this whole fairness thing, I keep hearing people, just on the radio coming here, some are saying, that's just not fair. And I'm realizing it's such a dominant theme for us. It doesn't feel right. This isn't right. It's bio-based, and that's the roots. Okay. And it doesn't mean that fear doesn't interfere with our ability to be empathic or use that this doesn't feel right. Fear blocks us from leaving relationships that we really shouldn't be in anymore, but we're too afraid. And a lot of your clients, particularly adult clients, will come to you because they're in the throes, and frankly women more than men, of what do I do, what do I do? I love him, but he treats me awful. He's cheated with my best friend, but should I stay? And it's fear, along with that barnacleness of once we connect. It's really hard to let go. We hate to say goodbye. Much rather say see you. Okay. Any additions to that? Make sense? Yeah? Okay, you'll think more. It's important. Speaking of play, so what do you remember about play? We gave a long, non-parsimonious definition. We talked a bunch about play. Today we're actually going to play, and then you're going to see 2 videos on play. Play is, we don't have to go through the whole big definition, but what are some associations?
Intrinsic learning.
It is intrinsic, you betcha. You show me again a little pumpkin who isn't playing, and I will show you one, I don't say this meanly, sick cookie. Something's going on with that little pumpkin, neurobio, psychosocial something, that they're not playing. Remember, even insects play. So it's intrinsic. What else do you remember about play? It's important.
Form of communication.
You betcha. Communicates. Boy, you guys, this is really good. The Google of the mind is working. So it is a communication, it's an activity, it's a bunch of things. It's embedded in a developmental stage. So a play of a 2-year-old obviously is different than a play of a 7-year-old and a play of a 16-year-old, than your play in some ways. Do you remember some of the aspects? What's a play of a 2-year-old? What's involved? A lot. Sensory motor stuff. A lot of that. It's very accommodating, learning about the world outside. 2 to 6-ish, magic mind time. Very assimilative. Very much getting the world to fit what I want it to be. This is not a marker, this is a rocket. I will tell you, I remember very clearly. So, I am on the carpet. I am 5 years old. No, I'm in this country, so I'm 6. I'm in Berkeley. And all I have is a little plastic horse about this big. It was white. And I truly felt as if I was a Navajo riding the plains of the Southwest. That's what I was. In my imageries, in my beingnesses, that's what I was with this little white horse. And I remember lying there, and I just felt like a Navajo in the plains. I could see those red dust, mountainy things, whatever those things are. They're all red, dusted, carved. You know what I mean? No, they're totem poles. No, they're, if you think of the plain, the Southwest, those incredible jutting, they're like hills. And they're this red earth. And they're wonderful. Sometimes the Navajos will build their homes right into the walls of these. They're not mountains, anyway. I guess.
What are mesas?
Mesas? Okay, mesa, I'll go with that. Anyway, the point is, the magic mind is so real. When you were 5, when you were 6, when you were 4, the difference between the outer and the inner blurs. In fact, there's a nice little study where they have 5-year-olds watch videos of an avatar that represents them that is swimming with dolphins and killer whales and on the screen. 2 days later, they will tell you they swam, and they really believe that they swam with dolphins. They actually blur it to that, except because the brain codes the outer as in here. So if you create it in here, it's as if it actually happened. You practice in your mind playing a 5-finger piano piece without ever touching the actual keyboard. And that area of the brain that plays that piece will actually increase in volume. The outer is in here. And that's incredibly important to know when you're thinking about play. Okay, what else about play?
Way of resolving.
Yeah, communicates all these kinds of issues with the potential to resolve all these kinds of issues. The child's perceptions, thoughts, feelings, ways of being and seeing in the world. It is the process of myelination. Myelination. I think that's how you spell myelination. Connecting brain areas. That white matter of the brain is really important because those are the areas that are connecting each other. Just on that, so I was reading, there are some blind people who will know to come around the furniture because they've discovered other cells in the eyes that connect to motor areas that are separate from the visual per se. And the person has no awareness that they are sensing that. So we blend perceptions and we're connecting all kinds of areas of the brain. And when you watch a child immersed in, what's play? My definition is a child immersed in,
Self-creation.
thank you, self-creation. I mean that literally neuro, physio, bio, anthropologically. And you start watching, you watch Carl. He is so absorbed in what we're calling play. And you can watch connections being made. When we bring little pumpkins next week up here, you watch, and they are so absorbed, you can almost see the little myelination neurosynaptic ganglia connecting. See that all the time, it's like, wow. It is the foundation of empathy in many ways. They're empathic to that little pumpkin. It is the foundation of abstract reasoning. Because they know it's not, I knew I really wasn't really on the plains. I wasn't hallucinating. I knew I was on the carpet there in Berkeley, California with this little white plastic horse, but that's not my experience of it. My prefrontal cortex says, oh, I see, location, Berkeley, California. Magic mind says, the plains. I am a Navajo. Sorry? Yes, it actually changes your schema. The whole way you frame your template of reality, it changes that. I gave you the example of the little girl who was tortured in the bathtub and how she worked with that until the schema of what bathtub meant to her changed from this horrible instrument of torture into this la 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 little bubble bath. Changed for her. And it was very symbolic of her whole worldview. Because the bathtub was such a symbol of nurturance, soothingness. And her whole world was not that. And the world changed for her through a wonderful foster mom, a lot of experiences, including the therapy, I believe. So it changes your schema. Possible resolve. You expand your way of seeing the world. It's almost like you can't be it until you first play it. The cliche is, the little girl getting into mommy's high heels and, we'll say, carrying her doctor's kit. And practicing to become. And we tend to be future-oriented. We tend to strive to become. We tend to play ahead of where we are in some ways. And all that Superman play, Supergirl play, Xena and all that's empowerment. All that aggression, in many ways it's about empowering. And remember the drag and drop principle. Wax on, wax off. Play on, play off. You take the skills, the schemas, that templates you're forming about yourself, and then you apply them in other areas of your life. You have a comment question.
Question. Let me think for a second. The question is like, when they're playing like, they're pretending to be heroes, or let's say my son, he pretends to be a ninja all the time. He loves to be.
Yeah.
And I have heard also my nephew playing like that.
Wonderful.
However,
right.
When they talk about, because a lot of these shows, which, I let him watch some because I know he likes it, but there's a limit because they talk about killing and da-da-da-da-da. So at what point you think, okay, they are playing all these, and then you get like, as a parent, of course, you get like, oh my God, I hear the word killing. It's going to end up.
I promise you it is not correlated to him becoming a serial killer, nor necessarily joining the army, not that that's bad, at age 18.
So how do you, because I have heard like parents who are like, I don't want to hear the word killing.
I know.
I don't want to, if they're shooting, and they may shooting out of everything. Like I was able to see the difference between boys and girls when I saw my daughter used to put her animals in a line. Mm-hmm. And she will put them there all nicely, and she'll play with them. Yeah. Then my son did the same thing one day. I'm like, oh my God, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, and then
he grabbed some, he just threw that toy, and all the animals were fine. I'm like, oh,
so he didn't shoot them down.
Yeah, that was the difference between the two of them. Yeah. So that was the day that it clicked. Boys are completely different. So
in this culture, in many ways.
But in the sense how they play. Well, some girls. Maybe it's the way how we perceive girls. that they play.
Girls are treated different from birth.
They're different, even though they can be aggressive and all these things.
Yeah.
So how do you like help a parent, for instance, how to guide instead of taking away that and flow with the energy of this is what they should be doing? How do you help them to canalize that without taking away the play? And
marvelous question. First of all, by the way, there's many marvelous books on your list, and I tell parents, I send parents to Amazon or bookstores all the time to get books. There's a wonderful book called Killing Monsters, and it really gives a lot of research about it. And yes, I'm not saying that there aren't any correlations between children watching aggressive things and becoming aggressive, at least in the short run. But it does not predict, and I tell this to parents, it will not predict that your kid is going to be a serial killer or anything else. The fact he's playing like this. It might state something about their feeling and perception of how they are in the world. It might help them develop a sense of empowerment. It might be an expression of feeling helpless, hopeless. It might be a lot of things. Obviously, if they're in your office, there's a problem that might relate to that. I also point out that it really is actually the child in many ways practicing being in control, never mind just empowerment, because they're not really hitting the other child. They're not really shooting anybody. They're practicing, how do I use all this energy and yet contain it? I always say it's like driving that Ferrari. A good-spirited kid is like a Ferrari. How do I learn to drive this 931 horsepower car so I'm not smashing into the fire hydrant and the water's going everywhere? And play, what we call aggressive play in many ways, is teaching them to control and contain. I'll have them punch that punching bag. And they love it when I beat the bag. Oh, you got me in the stomach. If they look at me with those gleaming eyes and say, it looks like you want to hit me, it'd be more fun to kick me, I can understand that. It would hurt. Not okay with me. You can, if you want, hit my hand. It takes a lot of focus to just hit my hand. And also hit it in a way that doesn't really, really hurt me. That takes an enormous, like being in karate. It's an enormous amount of control to do that. So in one sense, what they're really gaining is a lot of practice in how do I control this energy. But it's also, remember, the state that they're creating, a sense of being empowered. They also are angry. Kids are angry because a lot of life is what? Not fair, right? Going back to the thing I just said, we all have to deal with a lot of not fairness. Which triggers a lot of anger and frustration, especially when you're a little pumpkin and you don't get to choose a whole bunch of things that are important to you in your life. Never mind whether you get this toy or not, but what you have to do in the morning, noon, and night. You have to sit in a class all day and behave, and oh my God. So they also have a lot of anger. That's okay. How do we express it in a way that child. Now, if your child is doing something, your client child is doing something in your office that's not okay to do in the world, I do tell them that. You can think, feel, say anything, do just about anything. Ooh, you say that word, you can say that in here. You say that out there. People are going to freak out. So I need that part of you that's in charge of hands, feet, and mouth to go, it'd be fun to say that word out there, but if I do, teachers, students, everybody else is going to freak out, so I'm going to choose not to do it. But I can say it in here. Okay, so it's an ongoing. There are parents that won't let kids play with toy guns in my office. Very few. I think that's a pity. And I think to not allow a kid to say the word killing or to say the word hate, to not allow a kid to say anything in that sense, that this word is not okay. What would a humanist say? What's the problem with that? To tell a kid that we don't use hate in this. We don't use that word here.
Couldn't devalue their experience of that feeling.
Exactly. It doesn't go away. The urge to say it doesn't go away. All it does is, ooh, I'm bad at some level. Or this isn't fair, I'm mad at you now. How dare you control what I say or not? And I have to accommodate to you. I'm angry, I'm frustrated. Why can't I say the word hate? You tell me I don't hate? I do hate. Oh, I guess that's a bad part of me, right? The disavowed self. So now I'm bad because whatever I feel I am, if I feel hate, I am hate. You tell me it's bad, I'm now disavowing an aspect of myself. It's different than saying, I totally get that you want to play Grand Theft Auto. It's not your problem, it's my problem that offends me. Not that you want to play it, but the content of purposely killing women and all this other stuff and cops, and you get points for that, offends me. So I don't want that in my home, our home. I can totally understand your desire to do that. I'm not going to control what you do at a friend's house. I have no illusion that playing that game is someone going to make you a terrible person. It's not. You're wonderful. I believe in you.
So I have another question. But for instance, when they say, I hate you,
Yeah.
okay, they're mad at whatever the person did to them. So is it, because that's what I do with them. Like when my son says, I hate you to my daughter, I'm like, well, you might dislike what she just did to you. You don't like when she,
He hates her in that moment. I would say I totally understand. When you say that to her, I don't know what she's like depending on what she says back. And how do we think she feels? Well, I don't know how old he is. She feels mad, she feels hurt. Exactly, which is how you feel. By the way, it's a classic shift. He then creates in her what he's feeling. So it might not be okay to say that to her. We still have to behave respectfully. I have to earn your respect, but you still have to behave respectfully, even if you don't feel respect towards me. I don't care if a kid says, I hate you to me. But if it says it to somebody else and it hurts them, that's not okay. You got to be in charge of hands, feet, and mouth and mind. But we're modeling all this, and if we can keep valuing and validating, reflexively reflecting, then we are in a bimonic state where we're one, we're connected, and then we gain their respect, and then they internalize us, and then they're going to more likely not be hateful. So, it's the child immersed in self-creation. It is the neurobiopsychoendocrine template for human, actually scaffolding. It's the scaffolding of human competence. It is the scaffolding. You're building human competence. I gave the example of the little kitty that's practicing hunting and all the play movements. It makes the unbearable palpable. Play makes the unbearable palpable. So when that little pumpkin who was truly, honest to God, tortured in that bathtub, that's unbearable. To be able to play it eventually when she felt safe enough in a bathtub makes it palpable in a sense of how she can assimilate it and then change her scheme about the world. It was a great movie. Oh, God. And the actor is Italian, and he won the Academy Award. And what it was a World War II movie, remember? And
Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful.
Italian film.
Was it actually Italian? I thought it was American. Yeah, it was Italian. Yeah. They're in a basically like a concentration camp or something. Right, concentration camp. And the dad tells, oh, it's just a game. This is just play.
Beautiful.
Talk about making the unbearable palpable for his little pumpkin. And it's like, oh, okay, let's play. Just play soldiers. Wow, that's a marvelous example of play. I remember I told you, you can stand still if you ask a kid for about 3 minutes. If you tell him he's a soldier guarding the Buckingham Palace, it's about 7 minutes. Exact same act, reframed as play. Changes. You had a comment thought?
What you're saying with that, I'm sure some people in here read the book called A Child Named It with David Peltzer.
I haven't read it. I've heard of it.
He was a very, very awful abuse case in California back in, I believe, the 70s, but he would do the same thing. He couldn't actually play physically, but at the times where he was stuck in his basement by his mother, he used his imagination to do it, and it made all the abuse he went through much more bearable.
Yes.
So he'd play in his head with, his dad was his superhero, and
Beautiful.
he wasn't really having to sit in the basement on his hands, not moving for 10 hours at a time. It was actually something else, so it made him able to bear what he went through during his childhood.
That's a beautiful example. It's a beautiful example. Remember, we are the storytelling people. We live our lives. We frame our reality as stories. And one of the ways we learn to do that in scaffolding human competence is through play. Play is narrative in 3D. It's a three-dimensional narrative. It's the child's inner world being portrayed in three dimensionals, and you have the pleasure and privilege of being able to actually pick up, let's imagine you're playing with us, a three-dimensional representation of an aspect of that child. So whether it's little Bambi or Godzilla, those are aspects of the child that you get to play with in the context of a narrative, a story. So one of the things I do with that, and you'll see, which is different than traditional purist humanistic ways of being with kids, is I will join the play and I will co-guide and sometimes even suggest the narrative. Always looking back to see whether the kid is going with what I'm suggesting, perhaps. That is different than what the purists would do, understandably. They'd say I might be putting my stuff on it. The good news is, and you will hear in this tape today, at one moment I say, you'll hear Carl say, nobody's home, nobody's home. And one moment I say, I'm home, hi Carl, I'm home. Glad that you came to visit or something. And his next comment is, nobody's home. And my next comment is, nobody's home, the house is empty, it's all alone. Which is the thing about how much you can push the river or not, how much are you going to change that narrative. Because it's pain, that's kind of a transference, never mind whether you're pushing ahead. It's painful to see somebody in pain, a little pumpkin in pain. So sometimes we want to change it. We don't like some of the things they're going to say and do in our office, so we're going to want to change that. We have to be very careful when we do that. But we can join the narrative. And that's a very, I believe, very powerful technique. We will talk more about that. Obviously, it's in the context, it's understood to be make-believe. That's the magic of it. The child knows it's make-believe. I knew I wasn't really on the plains. I might have wanted to be on those plains, really. She knew that wasn't really a bathtub. It's a problem when they lose that sense of, oh, is this real or not real? Borderline-esque children lose that boundary sometimes. So we talked about humanistic psychology, we talked about the drive towards being all you can be, right? Self-actualizing. We talked about competence motivation. I said underlying competence motivation is still the wish to connect. And the belief that if you're competent, you will connect. That somehow, every time I catch that, you like me better than if I dropped it. It's an illusion, because of mirror neurons you identify. We talked about the technique, what's a fundamental technique in humanistic psychology that heals? What heals? Remember? GURP? Gupper? Genuine, unconditional. Got to be genuine. Pheromonally based, genuine. Twinkle in the eye, genuine. Unconditional positive regard. Because you have all these disavowed aspects of self, and that's kind of the fundamental issue of self-alienation. You're not in the eudaimonic state, as I call it. You're not at one with yourself. In this relationship, in this moment, in this I-thou-ness, when you feel valued and validated, truly connected with another human being who truly accepts you as you are. The parts of you that hate, the parts of you that rage, the parts of you that love and are joyous. You feel psychologically safe. You are healed, if one wants to call it that. To be and embrace who you are. Some of the things you like about the theory is it's optimistic. It can change you in the moment. Some of the things that weren't so popular. Well, for one thing, it's both popular and unpopular. It's unidiagnostic. I told you what Barry Graff, that was his last name. I told you what Barry Graff's diagnosis for any client he saw. Remember this?
You're a human.
Human being. That's your diagnosis. Chronic, undifferentiated human being. On the one hand, that's awesome. On the other hand, there are those who would say that's rather unscientific and not giving us really a sense of in what way are you different that I can help you. It's basically the same treatment program for everybody. I, thou. For everybody. Rogers became probably the first researcher in outcome researching treatment effects of his approach said, it doesn't work with schizophrenic. It's not going to cure schizophrenic. He also said, you know, I have a problem with anger. I just don't like it. Not comfortable with it. My issue. So I don't know that my theory really fully encompasses that. See, I like Jung's approach to anger in some ways. It's not always enough. I believe it's not always enough. I believe without it, as you know, no deep, significant change is likely to happen, perhaps maybe, in terms of your self-schema, your belief about who you are fundamentally. If you don't feel connected to your therapist in some way, and I vow, at least in some moments, I don't believe significant schema change is going to happen in your belief about yourself. However, I believe we do need skills and other kinds of experiences to help us be who we can be. And I do teach skills, and that's not a purist approach. I do use cognitive behavioral methods, I do use breathing methods. We'll talk about a whole bunch of different skills to help the little pumpkin be in charge of hands, feet, and mouth. They're just as valuable even if you're not in charge of them, but it's really helpful to be in charge of them. And I use, as you know, parts models a lot. Different parts of you. I have a little pumpkin, great kid, who panicked the other day. He needs a protocol, how to deal when he's in panic, so that his panic self doesn't overtake the White House of his being. We need his brave hero self, his calming self, his confident self. We need all these other parts. Okay. What is it? So how do we operationalize? What is it that you do in being this way? You reflect. What do you reflect, ladies and ladies? And one gentleman.
Motor behavior.
Sorry?
Motor behavior.
You reflect motor behavior. Right. I see you're moving up what I would call your sleeve. What else do you reflect? Louder, please, thank you.
Ideation.
Ideation, what they're thinking. I think you said thoughts. Their attitudes, their beliefs.
Feelings.
You betcha. Feelings. Notice, we've moved into the black box of soulness. Right? This is just what you're doing, consensually validated. I see you're moving. I see you're moving your head. I see you're moving that, what most people would call a pen. Again, if you're purist, you wouldn't even label it a pen because it's up to the kid. Maybe the kid is not a pen. Maybe it's a flamethrower or a magic wand. Ding! The good news is they will correct you. No, it's not a pen. It's a magic wand. Oh, break it. Break it. Can you change me back, please? Bing! Thank you. I do believe, to be a little tangential for the moment, relatedly tangential, thank you for the smile. It's very useful as a therapist to be able to go back and forth between the prefrontal and the magic mind. Back and forth, because that's what you're doing. It is exhausting. I don't see more than 3 kids in a row anymore, much if I can help it. It's exhausting because I'm so focused. I'm so going back and forth between prefrontal, what am I going to say next one? And magic wand, bing. I mean, just back and forth and back. I think it's to be facile, and it's a skill you can practice and learn. To be facile in that is very useful as a play therapist. Comment, thoughts, question?
I used that exercise that we had in class with the barking and the meowing with a little child that didn't want to come to therapy anymore.
Yeah.
And he started laughing and really had a great time and wanted to come back next week.
Beautiful example. Beautiful example.
He thought it was hilarious that I was barking and meowing. I thought it was funny too. But.
Did you get down on all fours, or just were you standing?
Yeah, we were both on there.
Yeah. If you can move anybody into the magic mind. I did that. I don't know if I told you this one. So Southwood, big, tough, badass teenage drug abusers. And the end of the group, this one guy was about to punch out this girl, and she was as feisty as he was. And there's nobody around, just me and them. And it's, man, they're in altered states. And I started going, they both look at me. They're like, oh my God, he's gone totally out of his mind. No, I have to censor now. Oh my God. And so as I'm doing that, I motioned to her, leave. And she left. He's looking at me. He said, how many fingers? I said, what? How many fingers do I have up? 3. How many now? Still 3. Very good. Ready to go back now? Yeah. Okay. To the unit. So what did I do? Why did I do that? What did I first do? What did the do? Yeah, shifted them into play. First of all, just distracted them out of the space they're in. They're honing in. They're about to punch out. They're like, whoa, you have to shock them. But it's playful shock. I'm not going to scream at them. That's just going to escalate it more. What are you doing? Hey, go ahead. Oh, great. Now the three of us are going to brawl. As police know, the most dangerous situation is domestic spousal fight. You get in it now, oh my God. No, you have to change the energy totally. So now his play mind's more engaged. And what do I do with the, why did I do the three? How many fingers up? What area of the brain am I bringing him to? Thank you, prefrontal cortex. As much as I love the magic mind, we need the PFC, man, in charge. I need you back here. Hello? And I'll tell him that. I didn't then. I wasn't so neuro-oriented as I am now. I didn't think, hello, I need the PFC back. Come here. Prefrontal cortex, logic mind, thinking mind, decision mind. Very good. And again, I will create reality. I know you have a very good prefrontal cortex. It's just offline now. Now it's coming back on. I will tell them they have a really good one, even if they don't quite yet. Mind in practice. I told you the one with the eggs, right? She's about to set the building on fire. I grabbed some eggs and we started having this incredible egg fight. I told you the importance of play in everyday life. I told you meaning of life. Take loving, responsible care of yourself. That includes what? At least how many minutes of pure, unadulterated fun every day? 60, thank you. Doesn't have to be all at once. Bonjour. That was a tiny little infosecond of play. I changed it for me for a second. You can play as part of that 60 minutes just by changing an accent. Duran and I, oh God, funny stuff. We're doing our annual pilgrimage to the North Shore. And I grabbed his bag and went, and we got in this whole gibberish. It was fantastic. We're laughing. People were thinking, wow, what strange accents. What language? I wasn't trying to diss any, race, creed, or language, but we just got into nonsense. One of your greatest moments, what's great about love, especially at that early stage with all that dopamine? You're playing. I told you that couple in La Jolla, I'm sure it was their third date or something. She put on this hat, and God, she was adorable. And he was laughing, and he put on, they're playing. Meow, play. Okay. Motor behavior, yes. Ideation, feelings. If you're a purist, that's basically all you're doing pretty much. When I show you the filial therapy tape, and you'll see some little quick segments of, I think they're real parents doing this. See, that's all basically they're doing. But they do it with lightheartedness, with embracement in their voice. So it's not just rote. I see you're looking at me. It looks like you're thinking about what I'm saying. I'm not exactly sure how you're feeling. By the way, that is one of the problems when I try and teach this in filial therapy. Not everybody has rhythm. Not everybody has a sense of how to truly just be, and that this is just a means, not an end. And they will rotely say, I see you're now laughing. Could you put a little levity in that? I see you're now laughing. Okay. I remember this one guy, and I thought, he's never going to learn this, really. Just like you're never going to really teach him how to dance. People who don't have rhythm, doesn't make them bad. You can get a little better at it, but there's parameters. Bedrock of analytic approach is interpretation. From whereth the aboveth cometh. Humanists don't really do that. Dynamicists call all of this interpretation. I see you're opening your purse. I hear you're opening your purse. They'd call that interpretation. I call that reflection, motor reflection. The reason, and when you did do the interpretations, the humanists tend not to do this, is it's riddled with the possibility of putting your own onto them. Very projective, potentially. It makes us feel very smart. And sometimes if you really do connect, it really does make sense. There is that sense of, wow, I'm feeling seen. Usually if you interpret to a kid, actually. I see you're running towards that bear. You're jumping on that bear. That looks fun for you. You're wondering if it's okay to hit the bear. It's fine with me. You're punching that bear. You're biting the arm. I know that's fun to do. Try to keep the teeth outside of the actual tearing. Thank you. Oh, you're still racing around. maybe you're really mad at your brother and the bear is your brother. What's likely the first thing the kid's going to do? Stop playing immediately. Particularly if you're right in some way, perhaps. Or they'll say no, or they totally ignore you and keep going. They rarely turn to you and say, whoa, that was brilliant. I hadn't thought of that. But you know, now that you mention it, I think you're right. I think I'm projecting the stuff from my brother, my anger, because I think Mom and Dad love him more. You know, I think it's a little Oedipal too, because maybe it's also I've never had that happen. I've never had a kid do that. What's one of the problems with a little 5, 6-year-old to try and do those kinds of interpretations to them? What's the problem? Neurodevelopmentally. Remember Piaget and the different cognitive developmental stages? They're not in that stage. That's formal operational reasoning. That is very abstract reasoning. Never mind how many of us adults can kind of go, wow, really? Oh yeah, okay, I can see that. They don't have remember the thing with the amount of water in the long one versus the fat one? Even though it's the same water and they can see it's the same water, they'll always say this one has more water. You can finally train them and say, okay, they're the same. They don't believe that. So how, if they can't do that at that stage, for the most part, can they make the leap? That's a huge leap. I don't think it engenders a sense of bimonic, and you're with me now. I could be wrong. You will see me do an interpretation with Carl. Okay, we're going to do those things. I add a few other things. As you know, I joined the play because I think joining the narrative is really important. It's also more bimonic. So I'll get on the ground, I'll start talking to the figures. I look at that child's face most of the time. I position myself so that I can look at the face. So if the house is here and you're here, I don't sit here, I sit here so I can look at you. Because there's a child, there's a therapist, there's there, oh, we'll put the activity. Make a cat. Child activity therapist. Your focus is the child, not the activity. Sometimes activity is fun. You get seduced into paying attention to the activity. So you're still drawing. The kid now is doing something else. Oh, that's right. I'm about being with the child here. Keep the focus on the child. And keep looking at that face to see how their face changes. Remember the 1/300th of a millisecond. You can tell with a change in facial expression. Keep mirroring that back. I make hallmark comments. Hallmarks? They're kind of global, they're kind of hokey wisdoms of life. For example, the kid wants to give a shot. Or me to give them a shot. I'm going to give them a shot. They go, ouch. And I go, no, I know. It hurts. Sometimes we have to hurt in order to heal. What a drag. That's a little hallmark. It's a little wisdom about life. There's a hope. If you start paying attention, you'll see the kids will say Hallmarkian things, and you underscore. We'll probably see a few. You'll see. I'll say, oh, there's a hallmark. Something about a wisdom in life. I do that. I do a Greek chorus. You're jumping on that bear. You're pushing that bear. Oh, the hero and the bear went into the forest and are now seeking the golden chalice. Said the hero as they were going through the whatever. I'll suddenly step out. It's a way of being sort of in the play and sort of above it at the same time. Play states a problem. If you watch play, even a little short little play, most of it states some dilemma, some problem, some little something. Even in 5 minutes. Be aware of that. One of the characteristics you got to have, and this is a big one, is faith. You got to have faith. Particularly if you're a humanist. Because again, your temptation is to push the river. How many times is Bambi going to get eaten by Godzilla? Every session, time after time. Can we move along here? I got it. How many times can we reflect the same thing? If you're a purist, you keep doing it until the kid changes it. I'm good for about 5 sessions, arbitrary. After about 5 sessions, I really did have a little Bambi that was being beat up by Godzilla. And about session 5, Superman, here I come to save the day. Actually, that's the theme from Mighty Mouse. That means that Mighty Mouse is on his way. So the Superman came. Godzilla, I'm sick of you eating up Bambi. I am here to protect you, Bambi. This was in a sand world. And what happened next? What do you suppose happened next? What the kid do?
Bambi was saved.
Louder, please.
Bambi was saved.
Absolutely not. Kid looks at me, looks at Superman, takes Superman, and literally, swear to God, throws him across the room until he bounced off the wall. Okay, I guess Superman is not going to save Bambi today. Sorry, Bam, you have to face it for yourself. Fend for yourself. Bam, you're going to fend for yourself. Gulp! And Bambi ate it again. It's my issue. Well, I'm trying to be helpful. I might be cognitively, playfully stuck here. I wasn't ready to let go of that theme. Okay. Later on in his own, he did change that theme. Bambi eventually was saved, but not that session, and not by my doing that. So, sometimes they will take what you say. Again, it is like jamming. And you start playing, and the other person plays, and they will take your riffs, and they'll build on it, and whoop, and it's wonderful. And you're attuned. But you have to be at any moment ready to go, oop, okay, it's about you. As I will with Carl with the little house, as you'll see with Tara when I ask if that's a shark that she drew, because I thought that'd be really interesting. She said, no, it's just a fish. Oh, just a fish. You can hear my disappointment. That's okay, it's mine. She kept on doing it. Good, she's safe enough to be who she is. You have a common thought.
When you are thinking about when to use interpretation, if you think that a kid is in a really devalidating environment, or it's clear that their kind of every move is coached or coerced by a parent, do you shy away from the interpretation? Because I almost wonder if that would it would be basically like the same relationship with their parent, where their thoughts are being molded or being...
Well, it's the feelings on it being criticized as opposed to being valued.
Right.
So the real issue for me is...
Or like for a kid that's really attuned with like going with the flow and is very agreeable, like that kind of a thing, like when they're in really devalidating environments, then they become very agreeable to whatever they hear.
Oh, that's well said. Well, what usually happens is when they come into the play, they move into a very different space. But it can be very hard for some kids to really be able to think, feel, say anything, do just about anything, and be in charge. I once did this approach with an anorexic, actually she was bulimic, a bulimic 23-year-old. And, I have toys in my office. And she looked at me, we were 6 months into it, and she said, what are those for? And I said, I play with kids, and could you and I do that? I said, you betcha. She got on the floor, think, feel, say anything to me. It lasted maybe 31 seconds. And she said, wow, this really freaks me out. I said, what about that? She says, I realize I am constantly and always looking for cues from others to know how to be. You're not giving me any cues. All you're doing is reflecting back what I'm doing, so I'm left with myself. I feel I have no self to be left with. Wow. Thought, feeling, or just reaction? Oh, too loud. Too soft. Thank you. Yes, up. She felt she had no, thank you, she had no, that was very subtle. I have to pick up the self cues. She felt she had no self to be with when I was just reflecting what she was doing. She is so used to trying to appease and appeal to anybody's, what do you want me to be? What do you want me to be? What do you want me to be right now? Can you imagine? She's talking about self-schemas. So it's a very powerful approach in that way. So kids that are very accommodating, it can be a little hard. Now I have to accommodate to being me. You want me just to, I can think, feel, say anything and be me. Whoa.
Well, I'm just thinking when they hear the interpretation and they hear, oh, that's my brother, if they're agreeable, then they might say,
oh,
yeah, that's my brother. Or, you know what I mean? They would go with the interpretation versus maybe there's something else and they're agreeing with you because...
To accommodate and comply.
Yeah.
Understand. I've never had a kid agree with an interpretation. I rarely do interpretations. Though some of my reflections might feel like that. Who is feeling brave? Who is in contact with their courageous one and is willing to come up here as we now are going to demonstrate this way of being with children? We, meaning I, am going to demonstrate. Oh, I'm going to need to move that camera up here. So somebody decides, hang on. Okay, you are 5 years old. Here we go. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Yanon. During our time together, you can think anything you want. You can feel anything you want. You can say anything you want. You can do just about anything you want. It's up to
Okay.
you in here. Freeze for a second. The tradeologist. Remember, I'm also a tradeologist? So I'm already thinking about what trait she's showing. What trait is she showing right this moment?
Attention.
No, but she's also being able to attend really well. And boy, you focus really well. You can listen and pay attention really well. And that will serve you well in life.
Thank you.
Looks like you're looking at that and it looks like you're not quite sure what to do.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do with it.
Okay. I'd be happy to help if you want and show you how to open it. Or you can figure it out because I know you have a very good problem-solving mind.
Open it this way.
Yes. Yeah, I know you have a very good problem-solving mind is a underscoring a potential that I'm sure she does or can do. And I underscore it. You've opened it up. And notice where I'm sitting. I'm sitting so I can see her face. I know this is making you really self-conscious and not letting you go into your magic mind when I'm doing this. We'll go. Yeah, I know. You're like, wow. Okay. So we're going to put back in the roll. So you're looking at all the
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot of stuff in there. It's
Lots
kind
of
of
stuff.
just thrown in there. It's not really organized.
Not really organized. A bit messy. Yeah. It can be kind of a little, what's called disconcerting. Big word. Pulling all that stuff out. There you go. Looks like you're going to want to organize things. Maybe you like things in order. That's an ideation order. Moving that around. Go.
So I wonder where we should put the bed for the bedroom.
Totally up to you in here, and if it feels uncomfortable and you want me to make suggestions, I'm happy to do so. But it's totally up to you in here. It's got to go
There?
right up there. Ah, you're never in trouble in here. Sometimes when kids kind of accidentally pick something, they're afraid they're going to be in trouble. You're like, oh, how does that work? Whoa, it's going. I'm going. Is that the little motorcycle?
I don't think it's a motorcycle. I think it's a quad.
Well said. You're very what's called observant. You notice differences. Good for you. And you're not afraid to tell me, go. I'm going. I'm trying to
Can you bring
go.
it back here?
Absolutely. Happy to bring it back for you.
Yeah, I think we should put this guy on it because he stole it from the police officer.
Ha! I'm stealing it right now. Hope I don't get caught, said the robber or whatever he is. Now, when I do things like that, I immediately watch the face of the kid. 99.3% of kids go, you're on, Dad. Keep doing it. A few will go like, whoa, what are you doing? I can't even remember a kid doing that. But notice how, and I reflexively, as soon as I said that, I immediately looked at your face. A purist would never do what I just did.
They want you to be involved in the narrative. They want you to...
They want me just to reflect. Remember, it's a mirror with heart. A purist would simply say, you're putting that on there. And since she said he's going to steal it, I guess I get to say that's a robber, a thief. He's stealing the quad. They wouldn't join it and suddenly become the figure. I'm doing that because I want to be bimonic and to be able to get into the melody of the play and help expand the narrative, either by amplifying you're doing it or by my adding. We're a duet here. If we're really bimonic, we're duetting. And it's totally disrupting your magic mind, which I wouldn't say. Well, I might say to kids. I use magic mind concepts to kids. They know it's magic mind time. So you were. That's the other thing you can do is talk to the figure. You were stealing that. Willing to take risks, but taking things that aren't really yours. But as soon as I say that, I look at the kid, make sure that's okay. Whoops, I fell off the thing. You fell off the thing.
Yeah, so
Oh.
now this guy is going to come on his bicycle. He took it from this kid over here.
Aha! Hey, you took my quad. It's not a motorcycle. Don't call it a motorcycle. Sorry, it's a quad.
No, it was this guy's quad.
Oh, that guy's
So
quad.
he took his bicycle.
Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me.
Okay, now I'm going to chase you.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh no, the cop's coming after me. The cop's coming after me.
But this guy is super fast speed.
Da, 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 da. He's catching me. Ha!
Caught him.
Looks like he might be under arrest, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he is. So now he's going to take him to jail.
To jail, indeed, you go.
Yep.
Ha. You're in jail now. Tossed aside forevermore. Ta-da!
Yep.
Let's stop.
Okay.
Because I want that. Fantastic. While you're sitting there, again, it was just an abbreviation. Thoughts, feelings, fancies, reactions as you watch this.
I have a question.
You bet.
When you said that the person stole the quad bike, would you ever say it instead of her saying it? Would you ever suggest it? Or would you let the child?
No, that's too big a deal.
Okay.
I'd probably because that I'd let her decide that.
Okay.
And that's when I'd get really neutral. Wow, they're driving on that. I wouldn't even say they took it.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's awesome how you corrected me. And that's exactly what a kid would do. And that's the good news. If I got it wrong, the kid will go, no, it's like that. It's like perfect. And then you think, thank you. I'm glad you corrected me.
Yeah, I'm corrected all the time.
No, that's really cool. No, what did you notice? There was a problem. We were up here in this really awkward, really bizarre circumstance where I keep interrupting your magic mind. And you create a problem within 3 minutes of play. Right? The quad is stolen. You also create a solution, at least an intermittent solution. Cops come, has to use the kid's bike, has super speed bike, able to catch it. Thief's in jail. We had this little mini story. We are a storytelling people. We are the storytelling people. You just told a little story.
Yeah.
What we don't know is what then happens. How do we reform that guy or not? A play is usually full of archetypal polarities. Bad, good, neutral, whatever. We don't know yet what he's good or bad or what he is. Probably good. He didn't really offer the thing, the cop just took it. I don't know if he has feelings about him taking it, but he'll give it back. Okay? It says something about who we are. Okay? And can you imagine doing this for 45 minutes, and another one, another one is exhausting. Because let's face it, sometimes with adults we can kind of, and then we're back. Hard to space out with kids. Bless you indeed. Especially when you've got so many possibilities of how to respond. And how much to involve and devolve and reflect and go into it and be bimonic, be attuned. When I'm reflecting, I'm not necessarily bimonic. I'm observing. When I'm in the play, I'm bimonic with it. Okay. All right.
So I think that's helpful, but I think what's difficult is when some of my kids that I see have a really difficult time knowing what to do with dollhouses or things like this. Like, okay, what do I do with it?
Oh, then I will, if it's okay with them, I will start. Let's see here. I'm wondering which one would be the bedroom. Now, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not even asking her directly. Because remember what you're not doing and what did you not see me do? I did not do one thing. I did not ask one question. I had no need to ask her any questions. Did I? Didn't have any reason to change a comment into a question. It's amazing the way we change great comments into questions. Questions? I didn't have, and I could have gone on all day with you up here. I never would have had to ask you one question ever. If I did, I would probably do it to the side. So for example, if you asked me, here, you be the cop, I might say, oh, good cop, bad cop, what kind of cop am I? Because I need more material here. I need more information to carry out your will. Oh, he's a really good cop and he's really fast. Then what I typically do is I just voice that through him or, is it him or her? Say him, oh, okay. Sometimes I'll ask that. So I'll voice with them. I'm a really good cop and I'm really fast. Just watch me. Here we go, super quad. And see, I'm already spontaneously looking at your face to make sure I'm not being too loony. And it looks like I'm okay. So I just take what you said and I just put it in his mouth. Because then I'm joining with him. What it usually does is it gets a smile. People are like, oh, this is cool. The kids are like, this is cool, man. Better than Disneyland. This guy gets it. He's Mrs. Taylor. We're together here. He knows how to talk playese. You gotta learn how to talk playese if you're gonna be little pumpkins. Okay, any other? We're good? Back to seats. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
And change this camera again. All right, Carl, doing a block internship, UC Davis. I saw him within the first month. Pervasive developmental disorder, as you will see. Pervasive developmental disorder. Refers to himself often in the third person, he, Carl. As I told you, you'll see him go off camera. I left the monitor on. He wonders, where's Carl? What happened? Adorable. Fortunately, engaging, wanting to connect. He's a little gnome. You think he's going to have goat's feet if you lift up his pant leg. He's such a cute. It was clear to me that I was going to need to see him consistently. The whole time I was there for 10 months. He's the one that I told him when I first met, we're going to be together for 10 months and then I'm going to go. It meant nothing to him. When it was down to 10 weeks, it meant a lot to him. He's the one that I showed him where I was going to. This is pre-Google Map, God knows, and Google Earth. I showed him, basically I'm going to La Jolla, then I'm going to Michigan. He's the one, remember, that I sent a postcard to when I got to Michigan, a Christmas card, and a happy birthday card in February. And then that was it. That June after that, he sent me a card. I never heard from him since. Okay? I show you this tape, even though I pre-apologize for how bad the quality of the tape is. I tried to take it to Digitalizer to help, and he ended up not knowing what to do with it. But there are, I'm sure, others who can help. The reason I show you this tape, never mind that I have dark, long, bushy hair, I told you, you'll see. It's like unbelievable. They allowed a human being to look like that with a kid alone in an office. It's amazing. But it was a different era. The reason I show you this is because it so underscores the definition of play and the difference in some ways of what it is to work with little pumpkins as opposed to grown-ups. It just epitomizes in so many ways. You can also look at this session developmentally and look at the different phases, literally, he goes through in this 50-minute hour. It's just amazing how he does that. Not every session is great for any of us. Above all else, do no harm. If you can get one little moment of some kind of connection and something, that's awesome. This epitomizes a lot of different things. Okay, anything else? This is the kid, remember, who, after about 6 months being together, he wanted to see my, what did he call it? Not schlong, but basically that part of the anatomy. Remember, I told you that? And he asked it so innocently, for 1 micromillisecond. I was like, oh, sure. He was the one, and remember this. When I said, yeah, I understand you want to see it, however, I'm not comfortable, but you can draw, whatever. Yeah. He was the one who then went to the bathroom and then said, now you. Remember that when you see him. Okay, let it roll. Lights. Oh, the other thing to tell you, the sound is unbelievably bad. It'll get better. You're going to hear this, nah, it sounds like, oh my God, what is going on? It will get better. You'll get the pace of it. I will mouth some of it so you'll understand. Notice that I ask basically no questions the entire 50 minutes. I think there's 1 or 2. I reflect. I reflect motor, ideation. I'm not a tradeologist back then. This was long, long ago. I do other things now, different things, but it does epitomize a lot of what I do. Boom. Power. And volume. And let it, oh, where is the blipper? Here is the blipper. Let it roll. Let me give you the basic scene. So he right now is actually monitoring the camera, and God, I hope the audio works. He is going to be looking for the volleyball that was there last week, and it's actually this building had a day center in it, and the day center has it. So it's frustrating to him. He wants the volleyball.
And how long have you been with him at this point?
Oh, about 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
I've been with him for a while. I'm concerned that we're not hearing any sound. I know nothing about that. Because you should be hearing a bunch of sound right now.
It's on mute. It's on mute.
Ah, that's why you're not hearing any sound. Thank you. And where is the mute? Here isn't where.
When you were doing adjusting the volume,
Yeah.
Just volume, and then the speaker will show up, and I'll have
move the volume, the turning the knob.
I'm turning this knob. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. You're very observant. Will serve you well in life. He is looking for the volleyball. You're wondering where the ball is. It sounds like you want to play with the ball again. Also notice my voice inflection. I, in many ways, he can get very flat. I, in many ways, amplify for him feelings. You want to play with the ball again. I think that was the basement wall. Probably will have to the basement, which is next door. So that it looks like it's not here. If you would like, I will see to it next time you come to the ball. If you'd like, next time we'll see to it that we can have the ball here. You'd like me to get it now. Now, right now, it'll get better. For today, we're going to have to play with something else. Annie, Raggedy Ann? Oh my God. Oh my God! Oh my God! It really is Manson with kind eyes. Huh? Unbelievable. They had the little hippie chain thing. Okay. To give you a cue. So you get a sense he's adorable. You get a sense I'm mirroring motor, ideation, feelings, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You look a little disappointed that the ball's not there. What I didn't say as a tradeologist is, boy, when you want something, you know how to go after it. You don't give up. Because he was looking all over the place. He wanted me to get it. I didn't think of saying that. I was never trained to do that. Okay? He's going to then, in a moment, and I'll actually fast forward it because I want to get to another point. I'm concerned about time. He's going to start putting a puzzle together. And he's, of course, very, very assimilative. He's going to force the puzzle pieces into the way he wants them to go. I had to run my own camera, so that was a little difficult. So that was an interpretation. You're pushing me, which is motor behavior, and I'm not sure. Maybe you're a little mad at me. Maybe you're mad at me for not, that's feelings, for not getting you the ball. That's kind of an interpretation. It's from where the aboveth cometh. And he's not going to turn around and say to me, you're absolutely right. Thanks for clarifying. Goes on and does the next thing. Kids are very in the moment. You're looking for something over there. You're pointing at something over there. You're climbing way up there. You're gone. You know, I'm wondering if this actually didn't rewind all the way, because he's doing stuff that's a little different. There's one in the middle. He was throwing things over the back. God, this is weird. It might be that it didn't rewind all the way, but we will see. I'm not exactly sure what I'm saying in that moment. I'm sure I'm reflecting you throwing things. I did try and set a limit and said, if you want to throw things, throw it over here, not over there. What qualities is he showing when he's climbing up there? What trait, among other things?
Curious, adventurous.
Yeah, it's adventurous, curious. I would say that. You're very curious. You're very adventurous. Look at you. Be willing to go to all the heights to explore the world. And remember, curiosity is one of those 7 traits that's particularly useful. Remember those 7 traits talked about from the research? So whenever I see a kid doing one of those 7 traits, right, being curious, having grit, attitude of gratitude, optimistic, social savviness, awareness of feelings of others and whatnot, being in control, self-control, having zest, I'll underscore that. Never mind what else you might be doing that's useful. Yeah, it's in the middle. Perfect. It is that. He's going to do the puzzle. I'm going to fast forward to where I want you to get to. Good. It was the beginning. See, I realize I usually just fast forward through all this. Okay? Let me fast forward. Fast forward.
What about the aspect of being dangerous to climb?
Well, you notice that's a really good point. You notice that I held my hands out like this
Right.
the whole time.
But we didn't tell him it wasn't okay, so like if he's
No.
home and he starts climbing up the kitchen counters and he's like, well, I do it, and
Correct. Good point.
I don't know how to.
Well, the way I would do that, if I thought about it, is I say, you're really having a great time. Yay for your adventurous self. If you do that out there, people are going to go, no, you can't do that. It's dangerous. You might fall and go ka-chunk. I wouldn't say you're going to crack your cranium. Ka-chunk, oh my God. And most parents aren't going to allow kids to climb on furniture, nor in schools or anywhere else. Remember this. He's not a little kakapoopoo kid. He's the one that loved to say kakapoopoo, and he would literally run out of the office and go running down the halls going kakapoopoo, kakapoopoo, literally. And he would open doors to other people's sessions going kakapoopoo. Obviously, I'm frantically trying to get. It got to the point where he was kind of the center's mascot. Because don't forget, I saw his mom and dad together with him in filial therapy. I'm sorry I didn't tell you the background very quickly. He was adopted at age 2. His bio mom is psychotic, floridly psychotic. His adoptive dad hated him. After about age, I think they had him about 2 years, so he was around 4. Little Gina comes along, their birth daughter. Dad adored little Gina. Hated Carl. I tried to do filial therapy with Dad, trying to teach him this skills. He was the one who would be going, I see you're looking at that. It's really fun for you to put those pieces together in a puzzle. I even did a little, I know those were days of not differentiating roles. I even saw the couple some, to try and help them in their co-parenting. She would ask her husband, when you peel your peanuts and all that, after I give them to you and your beer and whatnot, could you at least put them in a pile so that I don't have to have them all over the floor? What? Talk about a sweet codependent lady. She adored this kid. So in that home, they likely wouldn't let him be climbing on the furniture. At school, when I came to visit him, and his eyes went wide, he took me to the corner and whispered, "Kaka-poo-poo, kaka-poo-poo." He knew that it wasn't okay to say that out loud in that context. Pigeons can learn. Red room, green light, peck. Green room, red light, peck. I think they're not colorblind. He can learn context, but you're right, you can underscore it. The kids we used to see at Southwood in group therapy, would literally be standing at the group therapy door as if they needed to go to the bathroom really badly. And as soon as you open the door, they'd go, fuck shit, fuck shit, fuck shit, fuck shit, fuck shit, fuck shit. Because they got to say that in there. Get it out of your system. You need 2 minutes or 3 full minutes a day. 3 full minutes. Go ahead. They usually last about 91 seconds and then they're kind of done. But they know not to say it out there, or if they do say it, they get all kinds of problems. But you're right. You can certainly say, while it's fun to do here, it's not okay to do at home. Thank you for clarifying. See where we are. Where are we? You know what? We're going to take a break because I'm going to find exactly where we are. You need a break. Please come back, though, in only about 5 minutes. I'm so sorry that I can't give you a long break, but I really want to get through all this material. I want you to see this video, and I want you to see the next one.
5 minutes?
Yeah, all right, I'll negotiate. 7, 10 minutes, but then we'll go till 20 after. 10-minute break. Sorry, thank you. Let me put this on off. Let me put this. Yay for you for expressing your need. Okay, we are back. Sorry for the distortion. So he's trying to put together a puzzle. Again, no surprise, he's very assimilative. He tries to force fit the pieces. I reflect that. He now moves over and he picks up a house and he starts to explore that. Provide a box full of people and objects. He very purposely puts them away. He wants that house empty. You don't want to use those. You want the house. Anybody home?
What home? Hi, Carl.
Nobody's home. See how I put my hand on him? Nobody's home. There was actually a previous part where he goes on and on about nobody being home. That's okay. We come into this part. He still is nobody home. I say, hi, Carl, I'm home. He goes, nobody's home. I echo back, nobody's home. The house is all empty. And then I just spontaneously touch.
It's interesting how when he said nobody's home, he purposefully went and pushed the box even further in.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
definitely nobody home.
Yeah. Yeah. Wondering if anybody's home. Sounds like you'd like somebody to be home. Gone. They're gone. Like you're looking for just the right thing. Just wondering if anybody's home. Is he gone or is he home? He went home. He went home. Nobody's home. Nobody there. You're wondering if anybody's home. Nobody's there. Everybody's gone. You could never call this play by any reflexive definition of the term. This is like an adult coming to you going, it was empty. My house was totally empty. There was nobody home. There was nobody there. They were all gone. You wouldn't call that play. You wouldn't call that a casual discourse. He is speaking the most relevant, fundamental issue of his soul. That nobody was home for him in his first 2 years of life. He's right. Nobody was home. He literally was like a feral child. Social services finally came in after 2 years. Found his mom rocking, hallucinating, floridly, rocking in a chair. And he's just scampering around. I have no idea how he survived. I guess neighbors, somebody had to feed him sometimes. This is not play. This is a child expressing, exploring, demanding that I understand that he speak his truth, that he can be heard in his truth. That's what this is. And you gotta have a witness. So that's one of the other things. If play does all these things, why do we need anybody else there? Why do we need to be that? Well, a lot of times we don't, right? They play a lot on their own. That's good. But they need us. We want a witness to our woes. We want to be harmonic. We want to connect with somebody who hears us. And he is pleading. It's amazing, his voice. Nobody's home. He's looking at me. Do you understand? There's nobody home. The good news is, and you'll see it progress, he did say, oh, he went home. There is another, someplace in the universe that has a home that went there. So it's not just empty. He's not just a kite in a hurricane without a string. Because in a way, developmentally, that's what this feels. There's nobody there. Remember, we got to have a we, in order to have a we me, then a me we, then a me and we. And a we. Muy malo. No me gusta. Not a good situation. But at least I was really hopeful when he said, let me tell you, he went home. There's a he that went home. And that will expand. They went bye-bye. They went bye-bye. Oh, good. They went home. They're gone. I'm so sorry. Somebody say. No, please.
Did he say they went bye-bye first?
Yeah.
Or did you?
No, they. Most of what I'm saying is just a direct reflecting of exactly what he says. I just mirror it right back. They went bye-bye. They went bye-bye. You'll hear later in a few minutes, I can't understand what he's saying. Sometimes, by the way, I don't understand what he's saying. I'll say, not sure what you said, but it did sound really important. And now that he's going to start talking about these people they went to the park to play slip and slide. God, it takes me a long time to figure out what in the world he's saying. Slip and slide. And finally I get it. They went to the park to play slip and slide. We're getting there. Nobody's home. They're gone. And notice his progressions and then back. Nobody home, nobody home, nobody home. He went home, nobody home, nobody home. They went home, nobody home, nobody home. They ate dinner. Dinner. Nobody's home, nobody's home, nobody's home. So he spans. Dinner, they ate dinner. What phase, what stage in the basic development? They ate dinner, if you're a classic Freudian. Oral stage, the first stage of life. First there's nothing. Nobody home, nobody home. Then there's the concept of others. And they're eating dinner. Nurture and sustenance, basic, basic, basic. Then back to nobody home, nobody home, nobody home. Remember I said you got to have faith? He's going to keep doing this. Now, it will actually change. It's only been about 3, maybe 5 minutes. After a while, you're kind of like, come on, man, I got it. Nobody's home. Can we move on here? That's why early on I even said, somebody, hi, I'm home. Nobody's home. He doesn't do this for 5 sessions in a row. In fact, he won't do it throughout the entire session. But if you're a purist, he does it until he's ready to move on. If you're a co-creator of reality or try to augment or enhance his ability to expand, you might try other interventions to move it along, but you got to be very careful. Bye-bye. This is telling him somebody's home for him right here, right now. Slip and slide. They went home. He was home. I'm not sure what you're saying, but it sounds important. They went to a park. Everybody went to a park. Slip and slide, Yanon. Come on, children's game, water. That's right. So that is creating the narrative with him. I'm taking his little strings. Nobody's home, nobody's home. They're home. Dinner. I put it into one long string. Nobody's home. They all went to the park and played slip and slide. Okay? There's a story here. There's a big problem. Nobody's home. Maybe it's not quite as bad as we thought. At the park, playing slip and slide. I do believe perhaps maybe that if I wasn't in the room, he might not have played this. Because there is somebody home for you right here, right now. And that gives you the courage and makes it the unbearable palpable enough to explore, to express and explore with the potential to resolve a fundamental existential issue of his life, never mind all of our lives. And let's see what the lad does next. Remember, he wasn't interested in any of that. Now he's very specifically going to pick something out. That was very purposely and very consciously said on my part. He takes a barbecue, right? We know how picky he is about what he's going to select or not select. He is choosing a barbecue. And he got, and I very consciously and very purposely say, yummy. Long ago, there was a psychiatrist by the name of John Rosen. He worked with floridly psychotic folk before there were Haldol and phenothiazine and all that other stuff. So they would go into these psychotic states where their temperatures would rise, and some of them actually died because their temperature would rise to 106. He would do what he called direct psychoanalytic interpretation. He loved interpretation. He would sit at the foot of the hospital bed and interpret for them in really what sounded like crazy kinds of stuff. Such things as example. He also ran a center. Somebody thinks they're Christ. Goes, you know, you're not Christ. I'll tell you why. Because I'm God. And orderly, bring a pail of water, please. Watch, you cannot walk on water. I'm God. I say you can't. So you can't walk on water. I'm God. And I'm going to take great care of you. Mommy's milk was sour. My milk is sweet. It is good. Drink fully of the milk that is here. Footnote. Do you know what Milton Erickson said? Did I tell you what Milton Erickson said to the schizophrenic? This isn't a joke. I know, sounds like, watermelon. So here's Milton Erickson, right? You got to read, before you get your, never my PhD, but at least your license, you got to read Uncommon Therapy by Jay Haley, following Milton Erickson. You got to. You go open to any random page and read a page or two to see what other ways one might approach this incredible, privileged art we get to do called psychotherapy. So what Milton Erickson says to the guy who thinks he's Jesus, I hear you're good with wood. I need a carpenter to build me a cabinet. I need your help. That is so brilliant. Because if this guy's Jesus, he's a carpenter. He takes whatever is positive and what he doesn't care about the delusion. How do we help you be in the world some? All right, you want to be Jesus? Then be a damn good carpenter. I need somebody to help me with a cabinet. And apparently the guy built cabinets and became a carpenter. Okay, it's a whole different way to frame it. Milty had polio. Milty, when he was a little kid, this is classic Milton, he lived on the farm. His dad tried to get the cow into the barn thing. He's pulling and pulling. Milty comes and says, Dad, I can get the cow in the barn. Milty, you're a little kid. You polio, you can't get it in the barn. I can't even get it in the barn. Dad, I promise I can't. Fine. What does Milty do? He goes to the rear of the cow, pulls on the tail. The cow goes straight into the barn. Classic Erickson. If you make it more uncomfortable for the person to stay where they are, they'll move. It's brilliant. I knew of John Rosen. By the way, when I worked at St. George Homes, right, the residential, union-based residential treatment center, 1972, for God's sakes, Berkeley, California, we had a new kid, he's an adolescent. I'll never forget him. He was sitting on the bed, his first day. I said, welcome here. Glad you're here. He goes, you know, and I was reading Rosen at the time. I said, what do you remember about home or something? He goes, you know, my mommy's milk was sour. I asked him, what is your first earliest memory? He said, I remember my mommy's milk was sour. I said, you know, the milk around here, really sweet. Really good milk around here. So I very consciously say to him, yummy. I also know if it's not yummy, he'd look at me and go, and I go, bitter, sweet, not sweet milk, bitter, milk, icky. But that's not what he does. That's why it's exhausting, because you have to keep track of all this. Now they eat dinner. Oral phase. Now he's ready for more things. Others. He doesn't get people out, interesting enough. He gets little chairs and sets it up, including one for Gina, his sister. And then he keeps eating. Right up. I might have also said, and there's plenty of food, all the food you need. There's plenty of food for all. Gina, a chair for your sister. You're generous. It's all gone, you real fast. He is very, 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 as you might imagine, aware of scarcity and whenever anything's gone. One of the issues, remember, he first walks in, where's the ball? Where's the ball? It's gone. So that theme of scarcity and gone. He ends watching water swirling down. He used to love watching water swirl down because then he controls whether it goes away or fills up. He gets to control that. Understandable. Your first few years of life template you to how you see self, other, and the world. Again, it'd be useful to say there's plenty of food here. Plenty for you and others. You won't go hungry here. That is very powerful what just happened. That is very powerful. Nobody's home, nobody's home, nobody's home. He went home. They went to the park, they played slip and slide. Food. I guess I can have others. Okay, we got others. I got you. And he holds me like an infant. Oh, she's not here right this morning. Like an infant holds a mom. He holds me. And then he says, as you heard, Mommy. And then I first say, oh, I think you want Mommy. And then I realize, maybe when I hold you like this, you feel as if I'm Mom, or you want me to be Mommy. That is an interpretation. And he goes with it, come on, Mommy. He wants to make the fantasy reality. And in the best of a world, it would have been great to say, you betcha, we're going to go to the park right now and play slip and slide. From a Jungian perspective, that's like doing a dream task, where you dreamed that you went with somebody you cared about and did slip and sliding in this magical park. And then you live it out. The next day, your Jungian therapist says, find that person, go to the park and play slip and slide. Unfortunately, it's a 50-minute hour, kiddo. Can't do that, but I can give you my heart and soul. And can you imagine how damaging it would be if I turned to him and said, I know you would like to hug me right now, but it's just not appropriate between us. Oh my God. Talk about iatrogenic. Oh, okay, I guess there's nobody home here either. I guess there's nobody home anywhere. I am alone. Forget the food. Ugh. But there's a marvelous progression here, and then it becomes the real person. Because we really care about each other. Remember I told you, I love him. He loves me. It is a real, appropriate relationship. And that's really different than with adults, unless you're doing a very type of special regressive work with them. There is a reparenting that does this kind of stuff. Okay, so let's see where he goes next, now that he's so fueled. Colors. Oh, he wants the curtains.
Oh, the curtains. Where are the curtains? Yeah, the curtains got broken. So they're not up anymore right now. They're gone.
He notices whatever's gone. You're exploring. It's fun for you to explore. You're very inquisitive. You like to learn about the world around you. You're having fun. Okay. He's gone? Where's Carl? There's... When there's nobody home in your beginning of your life, you have a very fragile sense of self. And that self-schema is very permeable and thin. And all of a sudden you don't see yourself, you are gone. And I would touch him and say, you're right here. It's as if you're not here. It's another interpretation. When you don't see yourself on camera, it's as if you're not here, as if you're gone. But you're right here. And then he plays auto hide and seek. Gone, here, gone, here. It's another way of being separately together with oneself. Gone, I'm here. You remember the Harlow monkeys, right, with the wire and the cloth? And they went to the cloth, and then they refuel, and then they separate, and then they come back and refuel, and then they separate. And we primates do that. He does that. Gone, nobody here, you are here. Okay, now...
There's the shade, that's right. That's the shade that goes through it. That's a shade, yeah. The trouble is that the holder for the shade fell down, so it doesn't stay up anymore.
Okay, that's a random little nothing, right? So he does all this. He's like, where'd I go? Oh, okay, I regrouped. And then he says, hello. Okay. And I say to him, you're saying hello the way I do to you. Because a lot of times, play or whatever, when you come, I'd say, hello, love. I don't know why, just did. The point of that is he's internalized me. That's exactly what you want. And what is hello? Hello is together. I am here with you. Hello. I am carrying you in my heart. As I wander now farther away from mommy, I'm going to start exploring the world again. Hello. You're right here with me. They will carry you in their hearts. Nobody's home. So he repeats the whole first part that he took, whatever it was, 10, 15 minutes to do. He just did it in about 61 seconds. He repeats just now in what he did in the first 15 minutes. Nobody's home, oh, they're gone, blah, 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 blah. He just did that in whatever that was, 61 seconds.
What did he say?
He gets up, he looks, he goes, nobody's home. Same voice, like, oh, nobody's home. Oh, they all went to the park, eating dinner. Turns to me, hugs me, does that total embrace, baby to mom embrace. Just looks at my face just like a baby would and starts playing my face like this. And then he's like, okay, and then he wants me to come down with him. And he holds me. He did all that he did in that first part just like that. And it doesn't go away, but it's like, okay, I know, I'm building a new scheme about all this. My amygdala still fires like, whoa, wait, nobody's home. Oh, that's right, you're home. Oh yeah, I got it, your mom. Come here, buddy. Ah, good, okay. Yes?
And the other thing is the connection with your eyes and his eyes. They're like, just...
En face, in face. I am with you. We are bimonic. We are connected. I am the golden retriever. Look at it. Actually, that's a nice picture if you can see it clear with the house and that. That's exactly right. This is not play in some trivial sense. This is a child immersed in self-creation through a connection with an important other. He's looking at the monitor.
It's just, you have to see what you want to see here.
Piggy. What's the story of the three pigs?
Blow your house down.
Blow your house down. And then they finally built a home secure enough that it wouldn't get knocked down.
Was he definitely referring to the Three Little Pigs?
Or the toe game with the
There's the piggy toe game. That is also
go
true.
all the way. Well, it's all.
But they go all the home. And that still actually refers to the three pigs. That game actually derived from the story of the three pigs. And they go running all the way home. I do believe, perhaps, maybe, I could be wrong, that his non-conscious mind, his unthought known mind, didn't just randomly say that. I mean, I understand this, but there's that whole connection, perhaps. And perhaps, Doctor, you're being a little over-analytic. I don't really interpret that for him, but it fascinates me how he did that. Okay, he's much more independent now. He's showing his toe, showing his wound to the world. Does the camera see my wound? But he's strong, secure. He's securely attached in a certain way for that moment. Can let go. And let's see where he goes. Piggy. Go home. He knows about piggies going home. He's throwing things up in the air over his head. Butt noise.
I'm not sure whether you're angry or whether you just like
Butt noise. Butt noise. What phase is he in now, ladies and gentlemen? Anal. Thank you. He just went from oral to anal. A little psychoanalytic tadpole. I mean, it's unbelievable. He does all that bonding stuff, and then he starts to get feisty. He starts, when I try to limit, I say, it's fun for you, but I need you to do this. Boom, boom. He starts throwing them all around. Butt noise, butt noise. What's the first word of identity? No! You can't make me. I want to do it this way. No! No! So I don't know if you're mad or what's going on. So he actually goes and starts drawing an angry face. And he remembers that I told him when he's mad to go draw an angry face.
I mean, we said when you get angry, what I want you to do is make an angry drawing.
You shut up.
Yeah, I don't know if she's put a shot. Because that makes a big mess on the floor. If you want to throw things, you can throw these rubber things. Or you can tell me what you're angry about. Or maybe you just throwing things. Wait, I don't want you to do that. Okay. And that's alright. I don't want you to throw things and break them. Because I think it's going to be useful. I don't want you to be able to use it again.
I'll translate.
It looks like you're liking that's my limit. Saying how much you can allow, not allow.
Looks like you're liking testing my limits, seeing how much I allow and won't allow.
You're drawing. Looks like either an angry face or a sad face. An angry face. No, I don't want you to throw the chalk around. You get angry when you're doing that. I don't want you to do that because it makes too much of a mess. And I can see that you like making a mess, and it is fun to make a mess. But I don't want you to make that kind of mess. Because that's too.
I'm holding him.
I think you're too low to clean up or to go. And other people need to use it for them. No, I'm not going to let you go over there because I don't know that you're not going to use the chocolate. Do you want to throw things? You can throw all these things that are down here that aren't breakable. You can throw many of these things. Those two aren't breakable, but you can throw these things. These guys you can throw all you want. That's one. And I'm not sure what exactly you're feeling. Angry, why you feel like throwing things. You want me to chase you around. I don't want you by the chocolate. Because I'm not sure that you're not going to throw it right now. Yeah, you get angry if you limit it.
So it's explicated limits, right? I value and validate what he wants to do. The grand, I first said no, Carl. Hello. First said no, Carl. I can see it's fun for you to throw all that stuff. However, if you do, make a big mess so that you and others can't use that. Instead, you can use those over there. And now it becomes more of a game for him. But he's in a different developmental phase. He's moved through, in one sense. He will come back to it. Erik Erikson's right. There are all these phases. It's not that we end the basic trust and then go to autonomy and whatnot. We keep having these themes come up like a spiral in our lives. So now he's going to play. He knows he's really not supposed to be by that mic, but I'm not going to fight him on that right now. I know he's not going to throw it. Thank you, Frank Sinatra. Dooby dooby doo. And now he's going to draw. You can draw whatever you want to draw. And he will spend, I'm going to move it fast forward, he will spend basically the rest of the session, which is about 5 minutes, drawing. And he recenters himself. And he moves into, in a sense, competence and mastery. Something he has control over. He's not drawing a bunch of angry or sad faces. He's just making scribbles. He likes being high, puts himself up on a chair. And then he'll do something at the very end. And I just reflect. You're drawing that up there. It's fun for you to be way up there. It's nice to be in charge. And he's calming himself. And then he loves the water. You love watching the water go down.
We've got one more minute of play today. You're watching the water go
With him, I was very defined. We got about 30 more seconds.
playing with the water, watching the game. There we go. Bye-bye.
He was actually very good in his leaving. I can see you washing your hands, and it's fun for you to wash your hands. It's time to go. Bye-bye, Yanon. Thoughts, feelings, fancies, reactions as you watch this tape.
It's really helpful to watch. There's a lot less on your part, I guess, than I expected. I mean, I know we've been talking about it, but it was just really helpful to see
Yeah.
what we've been talking about in action.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful what happened in that one session.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, despite how bad all that, it's worth seeing. Not every session's like that. It just all came together in that session. And yeah, you say depending on where the kid is at. I do a lot more tradeologies. I mean, I'm listening thinking I could. But basically, it's heart to heart. That's what matters in that. That's what matters. Any other thought? Yes?
It seemed like immediately after the second playthrough of,
Yeah.
your mom, he
Yeah.
went right into pushing you away.
Yeah.
And my interpretation of that was a safe place for him to experience that distance and still be accepted back by you. Is that the way you interpret it?
On the nose. The way you successfully move into the meanness from the we-ness, that you're safe and know that you can come right back into we. He knows, as I told Valiant Valley, whatever he does, so he can go, you shut up. He knows I'm not going to slap him across the face and say, don't you ever say that to me. Oh my God, he knows. So that's beautifully put on your part. He's safe enough to go, I can be a we, this is wonderful. Hey, I can be a me. No, you shut up. I'm the boss in here. I'm going to pour this all over here. Butt noise, butt noise, butt noise. Me, me, me. And he can come up against me. And even when he's throwing the thing and I'm holding him, I'm still validating, I know it's fun to throw that stuff. It's fun to make a big mess. You don't like it when I limit you. You don't like it when I say no. I understand that. Nonetheless, I need you to do this. Here's what you can do. And he's like, okay. Remember when I had you say, I'm home at last. I hope he's home at last. I hope there's somebody for him at home. He's now like 30-some odd years old. I hope there's somebody there for him. And when we get to Jung, we'll talk about the archetype of home. It is enormous. Home is the self. There's somebody now inside of him as home. Because there are people, including myself, who were there for him in a we-ness, a bimonicness, so that he can evolve and become a me-ness, and he can be home in his own being. Now, we're going to watch something not near as profound, but more of the specific skills, more typical to what it is I've been talking about. So, what do? I hit stop, I eject, I put in this. You're about to see a demonstration tape. I made this specifically to teach these skills. These are two, as a brother and sister, of a student that was here. I had him bring them to the class demonstration. They were like player pianos, you know, especially the girl, where you just wind up and the keys play by themselves. She was so good at this kind of play. I said, hey, can I just make a demo tape with him? You know, I'll give him a coupon for Toys R Us. And he goes, yeah, sure. So he's actually filming this. It's in my office. I don't have a big relationship with them, as you can see. Boy will go first. I think he's 4-ish or something, 5-ish. Then the girl. And it's a lot of these techniques. I still wasn't much of a tradeologist as I am now. But it is very much these skills.
Come on down, Bill. Yeah, I really appreciate you.
Yes, clean shaven.
This tape. Let me just tell you, during our time together today, you're already looking in there, you can think anything you want, okay? You can feel anything you want, and you can say anything you want. You can do almost anything. I can see you're already so interested in this. You'd rather be in that.
Footnote, if a parent, I'm pretending that this is just a regular session. If a parent is actually in the room, I saw a new kid yesterday, the parent was in the room. When I go through each one of those things, you can think anything you want. Right, Dad? Because Dad is the boss. I'm not the boss, neither is the kid when a parent's in the room. I have to get their okay. Right, Dad? Yes. Say anything? Yes, okay. I'm pretending Dad's not there. Obviously, while I'm giving the instructions, his existential state is already in the farmhouse. So I say, I can see you're already over there. But I still wanted those directives to be given because it's a sample tape.
See you taking that and putting them up there. And one up there. Looking.
And notice where I'm sitting so I can watch his face. You're wondering?
We'll be spending about 10 minutes, not a real long time.
It's up to him to define whether it's long or not.
Thanks, you're deciding how to put that together. I'd be delighted to help you if you want. We can continue to figure it out on your own. It's up to you. I'd be happy to help you. It doesn't actually like snap on together, but people will put it on like this.
And yay for you for knowing when to ask for help. I can see you like to do things on your own. And it's also wonderful that you know when to ask for help.
Boop, fell. There you go, you figured it out. It's the other way. Out.
And I don't label what they are. It's up to him what those things are. It's obviously a horse. I think he gets out a horse.
It's like you're setting up just the way you want.
Ideation, just the way you want. You have a very good problem-solving mind. You figured that out all on your own, would be the trait. Looks like a horse. Usually seen as a horse. See, when I make that sound, look at his face, he's smiling.
Looking over there. Set up. Wee! Oh, I fell down! Said that person, and yes. The horse comes over here, and the horse is stomping all over that person, it looks like. Fun.
Fun.
Getting that fence all set up again after the horse tore it all down. What to do next? The horse. Minnie.
What have I not done? What did I not do for 15 minutes with Carl? Except maybe one slice of mine. Not done at all here. Correct. No need. I will purposely ask a couple of questions. He's not going to know how to answer it.
It was nice how he imitated you too, though. You started with the horse noise, and then when he put it back together, he decided to neigh. I don't know if he would have done that if you didn't neigh first.
Correct. To me, that's bimonic. Others might say, hey, you know, again, I'm not really doing, this is more pure than I do now, but it's pretty, they wouldn't they, the classic humanists, wouldn't join in directly in the play and make noises for the horse and talk for the little figure. I'm driving all around. I do it again to expand the narrative, to be Maimonic and join the play and not just be reflective. Join them, go back and forth. And kids love it. But I always look at the face, and you saw his face, he smiled, he was like, oh, this is cool. And then we're jamming.
She gets thrown off. Is that he or she?
Doesn't answer me. Because I don't know if it's you. It's up to him.
Okay. Kicking, it looks like.
I wanted to make sure I saw that.
Bam, smash, take that. Ooh, it's all getting smashed up. Boom, the horse is smashing everything around and stomping. Stop. Oh, you're stomping on me, said the person.
So neighbor, you guys be quiet.
So the next...
You guys be quiet.
So the next door neighbor came over and said, you guys be quiet. Of course, and they were making too much noise and bugged the neighbor.
There's a problem, right? We're into the play. What are we into this? 2 minutes? There's a problem here. There's a horse that's out of control and banging and booming. And the neighbor comes over and says, you be quiet. The neighbor didn't like that. And I'm augmenting the themes in a sense, augmenting motivation. The neighbor comes over because he didn't like that they were making sounds and noises. People do things for reasons. There are so many meta messages, so many meta framings when you can join in the play, the myelination that's going on as he's creating an understanding of the world. And there's a problem to be solved. What are we going to do with this horse?
Now you've set up so the horse can't get out. That horse is pretty wild, stomping on things, making lots of noise. So now you're having so the horse can't get out. The horse might be frustrated it can't get out, I don't know. So maybe it was escaping.
See, it puts a solution. We're going to contain this horse.
There? Harness or whatever. The horse is taking the tractor, dragging it.
So the horse also can be useful, not just wild.
Over to the cart. And you're setting up the cart so that the tractor can pull it.
And the pig to the place.
And now the pig's going to the place.
The other thing that happens in this kind of way of being is the kids start doing it with themselves. And now the kid's going to do this. And now this is happening. And he's feeling that, which is exactly what you want. Because we want him to internalize the compassionate observer that can not only say that he's doing this and that, but that I am feeling this way. I am thinking this way for these reasons. I can be my own compassionate self-observer. I can be my own best friend, my own therapist, compassionately. And that's exactly what you want. He's already starting to internalize that. Common question.
Normally, like if it was a real session, would you be repositioning yourself so you can see his face all the time, or?
Probably not in that moment. Sometimes because he's so mobile, he's going around and around, to then go back over there, then he's back up there. I'm going around and around. As long as I can get a good sense of what he's doing. You can see I'm kind of trying to reach around, trying to see. Because I'm thinking he's going to come back around here because the fence thing is there. But it's a great observation or good tracking on your part to go, if you really want to keep seeing the face. But I don't want my movement to be disruptive of what he's doing. But it seemed like he was really going to be sitting there a lot, I might move around. So yeah, I'm really strained to look at his face.
He's going to take the pig to the gates.
He's going to take the pig to the gates.
All right, Piggy, you're coming to the gates, said, I guess we'll say the farmer. Farmer, I guess, was taking the pig to the gates. Over here.
So I just mimic back what he does. We're just jamming.
And dump right in there. Put it right there. Taking that ball out. We have 5 more minutes to play today. And put that little ball in there. And horse goes right back in the spot. And that person, who is that?
He's not going to tell me if I ask him.
Okay, it's all up to you in here. You know, if there's a boy, a girl, a mom, a dad, who it is, but there's 2 of them. And they're going by the tractor. Up we go for a ride. All the way around.
Come back.
And then they come back. They get out, they go, it looks like. Here comes what looks like a dog.
Barn dog.
That's a barn dog. Oh! Then a sheep and a cow. Cow's right there. Here's the sheep. Man! The sheep. The sheep's gonna stay in there. First, closing that up. It's closed up. Safe and protected in there.
Safe and protected in there.
Here comes the car on the garage. Oh boy, I'm gonna have a crash car. Oh, something happened.
Punch the rock. You go in the back.
Oh, okay, so he punched him out, I guess. He's going in the back. I want to ride. Punch you, bam, and off they go in the back. Off they go for a ride. Oh, the piggy's on top of the barn. Oh, wee! Fell off. Smash. Oh, I smashed into the ground, said the piggy. Okay, kind of moving around.
Yeah, okay.
That's the camera.
And remember, it's his dad who's taking this. It's his dad's thing.
We have just a few more minutes. Sit. Keep looking it up. And shut the garage. Open the garage.
It's just self-reflecting now.
Into the car they go. Just shut it. Oh, I'm gonna drive around. And they're back. We're back now. Here, I'm gonna shut that. It's like you need careful. It's destructive inside. That person's right on his head. Comes the horse. Person leaping leaps right onto the horse. And off they go. But the horse now crashes, and then it seems to be okay. Kiddo, we've got just one more minute to play today. I see you're still a little slow in this. We're gonna need to stop. Here, put that over. Okay, hang on a sec.
His sister's right at the side.
Sister, there you go.
Watch this. Watch this.
Thank you. Now, go ahead and turn it off.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? We're going to stop the play now? I'm having a lot of fun. I don't think so. Oh, okay. I see you're really having a lot of fun. I'm glad you're having a lot of fun. I'm glad you want to keep playing. Unfortunately, we're going to have to stop, but I'm sure your dad will play with you in this way. Okay, now I know we're going to go a little bit over. I really want you to see this another 10 minutes and then we're done. I want you to see me being with her, his sister, who's a little older. I also try out some questions. She answers more. But again, you really don't need to. She will start out silent and then she won't stop talking. She will just be an auto-reflector. Ms. Goldilocks.
Oh, now it's your turn. And as I said before, in here you can think, feel, and say absolutely anything, and do almost anything. It's up to you. You're the boss in here. Go back to the house. Open that up.
She was watching her brother, but it's not going to influence her play. She has her own story to tell.
Rewind. Pieces to where you want them to be. Put the person right there. And then push it over there. Stay with the applaud. You would get out. Oh, you remember that the other person was in there and you wanted the other person.
You have a very good memory and you're very observant and that'll serve you well in life.
Pretty much the way you want it to be. Okay, set up the fence. Just the way you want.
Just the way you are.
What is that? Oops. That's what you want. It's gonna be something. Usually seems to be a cow. Big white.
She is one of 7 children. She'll put all these animals in this really tight little place all together.
Enclosure. Oh man, sheep too. It's like another dog. Oh boy, I'm gonna be with all my friends. Yes, they're friends. Getting along okay. All together. Pretty crowded in here. Is there sheep? Maybe moving some of those out. Oh, okay, you're deciding the other half. Just the cow there. Yeah, the horse. Yeah. You're sitting on the horse. It's not going quite the way you want.
You're able to focus your energies to do what you want to do. She really focused on getting that to go on there.
You're sitting there just right, just the way you want. Go. There. Oh, I'm going for a ride. Said who is that? The mom.
So she did answer.
Oh,
That was yours.
that's for animals, says the mom. Horse is taking the mom for a ride. Oops. Accidentally tipped over there. But on they go, mom and the horse.
So sometimes things don't go like we want, but then we pick it right up and it works just fine. That would be a hallmark.
Comes home and eats a peanut butter sandwich.
That's what she said.
Peanut butter jelly.
Good food.
Leave for the other person. Just went to get a toy.
So now she starts to do auto-reflecting. She'll start describing everything she's doing.
Walking over, taking off the horse. Let's sit away right in there. Horse, get in the barn right now. Oh, okay. Okay, try to tuck fast in the barn. Everybody's coming into the barn. I want to come into the barn too, says the cow. Way back there. She lays down on top of there. Okay, all these are getting loaded up. Put them up there. there. There you go. Now, check it out in there. You've got a few more minutes together. Comes inside the car in the garage. He's closing the sheet, whichever, closing the garage door. She's gonna drive this time. Okay, so it's the big sister and the little boy, and the big sister's gonna drive. Okay, you want the house shut. The big sister's gonna drive the little brother around. Now, Charlie, really close, tight. Off we go, little brother, on the ride, said the big sister. We're gonna go to the park, said the big sister to the little brother. Off they went to the park.
Play slip and slide.
Oh boy, oh boy. Boy, he was excited to go. Fast, and went faster and faster. Little sister, the big sister was driving fast.
But still in control and got them where they needed to go.
Big sister's ringing the doorbell. Hello?
Plenty of people home.
Okay, so she's gonna come down. Come in, she says. The little boy and his big sister came into the house. Now we're opening up the house. We have just a few more minutes. There we go. Closing up the house, the big sister took the little brother for a ride. And what was it? Looking at the puppets. And starter kit. I'm not sure what that is. It's supposed to be a stethoscope. You can have to be whatever. Trying to get your hair out of your ears so you can put it around your ears. There we go. However you want. However you want to do it. You. Okay, doctor? Oh.
I needed to know whether my heart's going to be okay or not because I needed to know how to play it out. Normally, I probably wouldn't have asked the question. I've got thump. I'm wondering if my heart's okay. It's okay. Oh, good, my heart's okay. That's the step aside, ask a question to get guidance.
Does this patient want a shot or not?
See, I'm trying to get some cues. She wouldn't give me those.
Scared or not scared? Oh, I got you. What's that now? Looks like that might hurt. Oh, give me a shot, doc.
Sometimes we gotta hurt in order to heal.
Alright, put the glasses on. Checking out all the different parts. Maybe checking the reflexes.
Very thorough,
How am I
Doc.
doing, doc? I'm okay. Oh, good. I was a little worried, but I'm glad I'm okay. Now you're going to the puppets. So do me, okay, you do this in 3 ones, up to you. You're ready, puppets here. I'm going to be the doctor. And what kind of doctor am I? Nice doctor, mean doctor, what kind of doctor? It's up to you. Don't know. Okay, I'll just be a regular doctor. This one, okay, so he is sick, and here is the doctor. Okay. Well, what seems to be the matter here? You look kind of sick, said the doctor. Oh, well, you came to to the right place because I'm a doctor and I can certainly help you. Let's first kind of get a sense of how you're doing. So the doctor put on the stethoscope.
I'm going to do exactly what she did to me, to that puppet.
Oh goodness, you are sick. You still have a strong heart. And you'll be okay. But you are under the weather, as the saying goes, said Doc. And Doc checked the reflexes. Dunk, dunk, let's check this one. Dunk, alright. Dunk, alright. Okay, your reflexes are a little slow, said Doc.
And said the dog is the Greek chorus technique.
Let's check in here. Let's do the old tongue depressor here. Blah, blah, Okay, well, what you need is a shot of some medicine.
I'm giving the shot because she gave me the shot. I'm going to do the same thing she did.
Be careful. Gave him a shot. I'll do as gently as I can, said the doctor. And gave him a verse. Both he's. Okay, so gave him a shot. There, that should make you a lot better. Okay. This away, and time for us to stop. Thank you so much for helping me out. I can see it looks like you're still wanting to do more, and I'm glad you're enjoying this, but we do need to stop.
Okay,
Greek chorus technique you said is when you, in the
said the doctor.
said that.
Yeah, or sometimes it'd be a little Mariah. So off they went to the woods to find the dragon. Oh, there's the dragon! Arr, said the dragon.
How did you manage to have the kids quiet during that session, the siblings?
Oh, I don't know. I guess they were just interested in what the other was doing. And they're well behaved. Yeah, and the dad's right there. You're right.
Usually you'd hear.
I know we're late. We can stop in a moment. Any other thoughts, feelings? Obviously different than Carl. Obviously I don't have some deep relationship with these kids, but they dive right in. They state a problem. Remember, everything's an aspect of self. So that wild horse was that part of that little boy. He's trying to figure out how to contain that horse, how to use that horse to be able to take things around and not just destroy stuff. She's in a similar way, drove really fast, but was in charge. That's very cool, with her little brother. And then she does the doctor themes.
I thought it was interesting how the little girl paid attention to you in the very beginning when you said, in here you can think, feel, say anything you want.
Right.
I noticed she was looking right at you and she
Oh, yeah.
waited till you were done to start playing. The little boy
Yes.
was just like,
Yes.
I'm not really concerned with what you're saying, I just want to play.
She has she's older and more developed prefrontal cortex, dorsolateral cortex. These are areas that have to do with control, listening, attending. That's just wonderful. And she still has plenty of magic mind. Okay? Go practice. Next week we get the real deal. We got 2 little bipeds up here. Who's bringing the... Yeah, it's next week. Who's bringing the boy? You're bringing... Yes, that's right. So your first shift, you're 8:30. You can be up. Perfect. Reflect on... Sorry? Yes. Oh, yes. Please come for both. Absolutely. Please be here. Really important. All right, peoples.